So last week, the most intelligent central bank of the globe, which is Reserve Bank of India, came up with the first tranche of LTRO, which is long-term repo operations. Like I said in my earlier video, I always have an indemnification issue with ECB, European Central Bank, is that it has to be long-term repo options. But anyways, that's between me and ECB. RBI loves control C, control V, and this is what they're going to do. First, the purpose of that LTRO was to negate the impact of high lending rates into the system, or rather to provide the liquidity to the banks at a concessional rate for long tenor. Now, RBI used to do daily repo and reverse repo, sometimes 7 days, sometimes fortnightly, which they discontinued, and now they are doing for 1 and 5 years. Our paid media who print this news for money and drinks, they do not know that it involves something which is known as POS, which is known as principal only swap. In fact, many people from FX believe that principal only swap is only about FX. It is more than FX. It includes Indian rupee also. It could be any local currency. Indian rupee is an example because we are talking about Indian rupee. So now RBI is saying that either for 1 year or 3 years we will provide you a funding and you will pay you at repo rate. You bring some collateral and we give you. You pay me back at that basically repo rate. So interest would either be charged from government security or it could be charged from the I would say the cash method. I'm sure that many so-called courses even do not tell people know that what are the two ways of charging interest in repo. There are multiple ways the banks can pay interest. But before stating further, let me read out something for you, because I'm always a person of data. So let's talk data. And this document is dated 17th February and today is practically 21st around 4 a.m. in the morning. So 3 days before. Today, Reserve Bank of India conducted the first long-term repo operation for a notified amount of 25,000 crore for 3-year tenor. Note carefully, 3-year tenor. In response to the LTRO, has been highly encouraging. It has to be encouraging because I am getting the funding at 5.15%. Come on, it has to be encouraging. So there is no need to mention that it is encouraging. If tomorrow RBI will start lending fund at 3%, it would be more than encouraging. So use the word encouraging if you are offering more than repo rate or probably more than MCLR, and then banks are coming and taking funding, right? I understand our media is paid, corrupt, incompetent, and for drinks and money they can publish anything, but not everybody like that, So the response for LTRO has been highly encouraging. The total bids were received around 1,94,000 crores, precisely 1,94,414. So the bid to cover ratio is around 7.8 times. Okay. So against that, 63 bids were received. Against the 63 bids, RBI allocated on a pro rata basis of around 12.86%, and they paid around 25,035 crores. It's a 3-year, which means that now the date of reversal, which is also known as POS completion date, is around 16th February 2023, because it is 20, so it is 3 years, 23. But the situation do not end here, the other situation starts from here. Let's take the calculator and let's compute the impact on the Indian banking system. It is said that Indian banking do hold a weekly deficit of 1 lakh crore. And this is, I am not quoting, this is in the public domain. But before that, let's do the step-by-step mathematics. Step number 1, 12,035 is quoted by RBI. This is the total funding they give for 3 years. Divided by 194,414. Okay, 194,414. So 194,414 himself suggests that himself suggests that that the liquidity deficit on a weekly note, on a monthly note in India is more than 1 lakh crore. Let's move further. Okay, you got around 12.86%. So RBI computation is right, 12.87. This is 0.12, right? Now, how much is the MCLR? Now, in our foreign exchange, there is a concept called impacted POS. Now, impacted POS is a concept which means that if I am offering you a principal only swap at a point of time, but the amount of the principal only swap is not what actually you are looking for. So, simplistically, you are looking for 100 rupees and I am giving you 5 rupees, which means 5%. So, it means that the total POX is generated only 5% impact. And this multiplication phenomena is known as impacted POS, which is known as impacted principal only swap. Now, impacted principal only swap, the purpose of that LTRO, which means that to give lending to a banks at a concessional rate, which banks further lend to customer. I am not entering into a discussion that the transmission mechanism of monetary policy, RBI himself agreed that it is failed several times, which is also known as PTA, pass through mechanism. It means that when RBI cut the rate or hike the rate, so what it means that when RBI cut the rate, the banks never pass this to customer. So if RBI cut 25 bips, bank passed only 10 bips. But if RBI hike by 25 bips, bank passed 35 bips. This is known as pass through. Many people, those who are watching the video, do not know that India always have a failed pass-through mechanism since 1947, and no governor of the RBI, including the so-called Raghuram Rajan, ever tried to make this correct. They cannot, because that requires skills, effort. Now, this would have an impact on the MCLR. Definitely would have an impact on MCLR. I got on Google and on Bank Bazaar website, I got some data. This suggests that as at 19th February, this is the MCLR. So State Bank, I am quoting 1 year MCLR. State Bank MCLR is around 7.9, HDFC 8.15, ICICI 8.45, Axis 8.35, PNB 8.25, Citibank 7.95, IndusInd 9.45. Do not forget IndusInd Bank. Yes Bank, our beloved bank, 9.7%. RBL, Ratnagar Bank, 9.8. DBS 8.3. IDFC 9.3. So all the bankrupt banks are having more MCLR. Bandhan Bank 10.6. Now let's do the simple mathematics, which is known as imputed POS. Very, very simple mathematics. I do it again. 25,035 divided by 194,414. I got 0.128. Okay. I don't have time to compute the average, but for a minute, if I exclude the big boys, Yes Bank, Bandhan Bank and all, let me take just 8.5% as an average MCLR. It is quoted here. It is by the way, it is quoted here. So it is around 8.5%. Let me take. Guys, do you know how much is the impact? How much is the impact? It is approximately how much? It is approximately 1%. And that 1% impact has to be divided into 3 years, because we are talking about the 3 years. Now if I divide 1% divided by 3, you will get the answer. No need to tell you. What do I wanted to say is that the most efficient central bank of the globe should know that the average liquidity deficit per month in this country is more than 1 lakh crore. So even if you are coming up with LTRO, you should come with at least 1 lakh crore. The first mistake. Secondly, you took 25,000 and how you prorated, I don't know. That's not my jurisdiction also. The bank's MCLR, which is there in the public domain, is ranging from 8.8% to 10.6% in case of Bandhan Bank. God knows, maybe more than that. The average LTRO is somewhere between 8.5 to 10%. Doing all this stupidity of LTRO will not make any sense. The first thing banks needs to do, RBI needs to do, is to reduce the MCLR. And even if RBI will compute the impacted POS, they would get less than 1% on a yearly note, about 33 cents on yearly basis. This is what is known as foreign exchange. When on paper RBI did 25,000 crore, our banks, our media who works for drink and money, they published like anything, but the actual impact on a yearly note is less than 33 cents. And note that this is not a weighted average impact, because I don't have time to compute the weighted average on all the banks, because why I cannot compute, because I do not know who participated and who got how much. So example, on all these banks, if I would get to know that this bank participated and they got this amount, I would have computed the weighted average for that. But I don't have this data, so I cannot compute. But on an apparent note, on an average note, the impact on a yearly note is 33 cents. And to conclude the discussion, we know that the transmission mechanism of monetary policy of India is absolutely pathetic since 1947. It's not a political statement. Whichever government comes, it never worked. And no government, no RBI governor ever worked on that also. That is also a fact. Having said that, till what extent this 33 cent will pass on to the system, we need to see. But one thing I'm sure and 100% sure is that I will never get an article, probably in another 3 years, by the time this swap will mature, that this 33 cent is actually passed, say, to the tune of 16 cent, 25 cent, or the whole 33 cents. This is called analytics. Many people asking me the practical FX knowledge. This is called a demo of practical FX knowledge. When you got the data provided by the government and using that data you collate the stuff. With this, we thank you very much. You know our mobile number, which is +91 9899242978. You know our fixed income platform, www.fixedincome.global. If you are an enthusiastic person, you love to target the system, you have the facts, you have the knowledge, and you wanted to learn knowledge, we have a lot of groups for you. Have a good time.